Go ahead.
Okay. Hi there, my name is Todd Child. I'm from the Blood Tribe. Um, I was trying to think about what I'll be talking about today. So I was kind of thinking like we're each in this program because we want to go into fields where we're going to share information with the public. So we each kind of have our own stories to tell, and it's we each have a different reality. So therefore, we each come from different backgrounds, which create different perspectives, opinions, and views of life. And my background is I come from the Blood Tribe. That's just west of here. And I found it weird because like a lot of my friends I've made in Lethbridge, they didn't even know where that was or what that was. They tell me, "Oh, where are you from?" Like, "I'm from the Blood Tribe," and they'd be like, "Well, where's that?" I'm like, "It's to the west," and they're like, they didn't even know what it was. Like you lived here your whole life and you don't even know that. And they're like, "Well, yeah." Like, so then I told them, "Well, how do you know about me? Like, what's your view about me?" Then I tell them like, to tell me, well, just be honest. Like, tell me what you think. Then they'll tell me what they thought, and it's just like so out of like like, oh, like you don't know anything about me, but yet you know all that about me. then I kind of thought, well, I think most people, I think a lot of information has been kept from Canadian society because the government tries to hide a lot of what they did, and they don't want the public to know like a lot about what's really going on. And I think it's up to us to get that information out there so people know what's going on. So people have to know what's going on with their money, what's going on with their government, with their health, like a lot of stuff that's going on with like oil and gas, with the crops, the water. Like it's basically poisoning us, and we don't really know like a lot about. We don't really know that, like, and that's something I wanted to get into, was to share information with people. And I know like sometimes when you start talking like that, people will dismiss you as a conspiracy theorist. They're like, "Oh, well, you're just fear mongering," But I think there's like, I think as human beings, like we all share the earth, and we gotta all get involved to like develop better ways of living on earth. Because like we look at how much pollution there is. Like when we had the fires here like last month, like it was so smoky, like you go outside and you couldn't see anything, and you couldn't really breathe, and I have friends down in California, and I went to visit them last year, and when you got off the plane, like that's how it was. Like it was just smoky, and it wasn't smoky, it was smoggy. And I thought when I first got there, I was like, "Oh, like is there a fire somewhere? Like what's going on?" They're like, "Well, no, it's always like this is." I'm like, "Real? Like wow, it's like horrible." So, and yeah, so that's one of the things I want to do. But yeah, I kind of got off. I didn't really. I kind of jotted down a few things of what I wanted to talk about. Like, I know everybody here introduced themselves and where they're from and all this and that, but where I came from, I grew up on the reserve, but I currently have a home in Lethbridge. But I grew up on the reserve, and I think what that kind of gave me was it gave me a different perspective on reality. That like there's the have and the have-nots. And I think when you're part of the have-not crowd, like you appreciate everything, like you appreciate everything that you have, like because like you go across the river and you cross into like a third world country, and I don't know. That always like bugged me. I was always thinking like, if this is Canada, why do we have a third world situation? You know, like, and the reserve isn't poor. Like, I think the reserve, it was the largest reserve in Canada, and we have the largest like shallow body of oil, I think, in Western Canada, next to like the tar sands. So yeah, like the reserve has a lot of oil and gas, and that they've tapped into it. Like, I think it was 5 years ago, they made a big deal with a couple of oil companies to come and drill there, and they drilled there, and there's like over like, I think 300 oil and gas wells. So you'd figure, oh well, that'll produce, you know, money for the reserve, but the reserve is still poor. So you got to look into the politics of that, and when you look into the politics of why the reserve is poor, it's because, well, it was created, it was made that way. Like, people actually sat down, they all went through, they created a system where you can't make money. Like, it's an economic dead zone. Like, it's a gray zone. Like, you know. So I was always wondering, why don't we try to fix that? You know, like, maybe the politicians just go back to their luxury homes and they close the door, and the problem goes away for them, but not for us. So, but yeah, so that it kind of made me realize that there was it kind of made me have a lot of disillusionment with society. So and so then I kind of didn't really care about school. Like, I was like one of the smartest kids in my, like, I kept up with all the smart kids in my grade, but you know, growing up where I came from, like, it wasn't all bad. Like, it was all like every day was a different like adventure, kind of. Like, there's always things going on, you know. Like, there's always things happening. Like, even though like everybody was poor and stuff, like, well, I wasn't really poor. Like, I come from a hardworking family, which I'm thankful for. My dad ran he was general manager of this irrigation company on the reserve, and at one time it was the largest and technologically advanced irrigation system in Western Canada, and we'd have people that would come here from like the Middle East, China, from the States, from even South America. They come and they look at how we built this system of irrigation, and you know, they take notes from us, and you know, they really, you know, we have something really unique there. So that's what my dad, he ran, and he used to always tell me, like, why don't you get into like university, like finish your schooling and stuff. But I was too busy like hanging out, and you know, like, I wanted to be one of the boys and hang out and, you know, party, and just, you know, we just didn't really care about school. So I think I didn't have like good role models, so I didn't really care, you know. Like, so I'd rather just I was, you know, just did what I wanted. And as soon as I got out of school, I joined up with Job Corps from the States. Our territory goes on the Blackfoot territory. It extends from the mountain range. It goes all the way up to the traditional Blackfoot. It goes all the way up to south of Edmonton. It goes past the Saskatchewan border, all the way down to Yellowstone Park, and all the way back. So our reserve was cut in half by the border. So since that happened, it made us dual citizens. So I'm able to go to the States and live there if I wanted to, or work. So one of my older cousins, he he went to Job Corps and he told me like, well, if you wanna, he said you should like leave the reserve and, you know, like, I was telling him like all the things that were going on, and he said, you know, he gave me like a lot of good advice, because he was older than me, and he got involved in a lot of crazy stuff. Like he was always in jail, and you know, like he was always telling me, don't get involved in this, like don't go down the path I went down. So he told me, go to Job Corps, and you need to get away, and you'll see a different point of view. So I joined Job Corps. And it's kind of like a government-run trade school, and like I think the largest one was in Salt Lake City, of all places. But it was I joined up with them through the Blackfoot tribe. I got my social security number with them, and I went down to Job Corps, and I didn't even take it serious. I just took like business, like business clerical, like that's basically it's how to like run computers and, you know, do business models and stuff. So, but yeah, so anyways, from there, that's where I met like a lot of different people from all over the States, like from all like people like from the like all the major cities, like the ghettos, like the trailer parks. There's people from like refugees, a few, you know, and you know, and it kind of showed me a different world, that we're all the same. Like everybody's going through hard times. Like people I met down there, like they were like, oh yeah, and they'll tell me their stories, and it's just like, it kind of opened my eyes to realize that we all have stories to tell. Like we'd sit around and talk about, oh, this happened, this and that, and it's like everybody's been through deaths, everybody's been through hard times, but it's what you do with what happened in your life, if it's gonna make it better or worse. Like you can use the tragedy in your life to propel you to do better things, you know. So that's what, you know, and I met like a lot of natives all the way across like the States, people that I'm still friends with today, and like a lot of them I've lost contact with, but yeah, like it was really cool and good experience. So after that, I just came back home and I just went to work, and I worked in like Edmonton. I didn't want to go back to the reserve, so I moved to Edmonton with my aunt, and I built hot tubs, and we used to like give complimentary hot tubs to the oilers. So we like built them hot tubs, and we go deliver to the oilers, and they were never home. Like it was always during the day, so just their hot little girlfriends would come out with their little lap dogs and watch us, and, you know, like. But yeah, that was. Then after that, I came back. I had a couple of deaths in my family, so I came back home, and they're holding auditions. They're making a movie here in Southern Alberta. It was called Dreamkeeper, and my cousin wanted me to go and try it and see if we can get, you know, if we can become extras. So we went down and we got to the set, and they said, yeah, like they needed more natives, so they just let us on set, and when we changed, we signed up, and we went to wardrobe, you know, we got into our traditional, you know, like, I guess that's what like natives used to wear, like the breech cloths and everything, and that's when for that summer, I did like, I was an actor for the summer, and it was like pretty cool. So I think that's another thing that influenced me to get into this. So, but there's like tons of other stuff that I did, but I think I'm running out of time, so I'm gonna wrap it up. But thanks for listening to my